If you could be one cricketer
Present day.
who's playing the game right now,
Right.
who would it be?
So I think my answer would have been a couple of years ago would have been McCullum. I think he was the one that and I was thinking about this the other day. You know, I've got my own YouTube channel. You can find it, good areas.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. But I was thinking about like how many, there was a year when I wrote like 30,000 words on McCullum. I wrote more words on McCullum than he wrote in his own book, right, in that year. And I was looking at my stuff and I was just like, video on Jasper Bumrah, video on Jasper Bumrah, video, and I was like, oh, I'm doing the same thing again. And it's Bumrah, because I cannot not watch Jasper Bumrah at the moment. I find him absolutely fascinating. Everything that he does, I think he's getting better, which if you'd asked me 2 years ago if Jasper Bumrah would have gone any better, I would have been like, no, he's already at peak. And I think he's actually a better bowler now. And I don't want to miss a single ball that he bowls. And I think, for me, he would be the one. And I was thinking about, like, in women's cricket, like, I love Sophie Ecclestone, right? Like, I love watching her bowl. But she's a left-arm finger spinner who bowls defensive. Like, if I miss a couple of her balls, it's like, it's okay. She's a left-arm finger spinner. Do you know what I mean? You know, left-arm finger, it's not even a real art, is it? Right?
A bit of R&B if he said they're just a step and fetch it. There.
Exactly.
Just step and fetch it.
Exactly.
I'll hit it as far as I want.
So it's not a real thing. Whereas with Bumrah, he's a fast bowler with all these incredible skills and everything else. And it feels like every time he does something new that I haven't seen before, imagine being at the top of your mark and just being like, no one in the world can hit me. Whatever I do next, they're just not going to be able to handle this. I just think that would be the coolest skill to have. And I also love the combination of being a fast bowler who also is highly skillful, right? So you can't get bored. It's not like just being like, you know, a big fast bowler who just comes in and does this. He does different things all the time. So it's constantly interesting. So that's who I would pick.
That's the most fandom I've ever seen you, I think.
Except,
do you know what I love?
Except for all those columns on Brendan McCullum.
Well, since McCullum retired. Do you know what I love thinking is, you know, when say it's the final ball of a match or a really crucial moment, and the bowler is at the top of his mark,
right?
And you're just thinking, I mean, with McGrath you would have known what he was going to bowl, but just the idea that bowler is the only person in the world who knows what ball he's just about to deliver, always gets me. What about you? You would. Batter, bowler, keeper.
Well, I certainly wouldn't want to be a bowler, a quick bowler, because it's hard work. That is real graft. I'd have to be one of the fancy Dans. I want to be a batter, and I'd stick with an English batter.
Okay.
And so I'm choosing between two.
Can we guess?
You can guess.
A Root as well.
Harry Brook and Joe Root.
Yeah, you've got the two. So 2 Yorkshire lads.
Yep.
One with a 3 to 4 year drive to pass Sachin
very
Tendulkar.
Good.
So
I like that, because I think that's part of the discussion. Like Bumrah's probably only got a couple of years left, 3 years, 4 years maybe.
So there's the drive.
Would it not be better to be at the start of your career?
There's the drive for Joe Root. Makes batting look easy. Or do I want to be...
And an Ashes 100 in Australia as well. Those two things.
Do I want to be this highly talented, gonna set the world alight, hit the ball all over the place from anywhere? Quote from Joe Root, it's like batting with Kevin Peterson. So do I want to be a experienced Joe Root, or do I want to be Jack the Lad, Harry Brook?
Well,
I'm going to be Harry Brook.
Well,
I'm going to be Harry Brook.
It's really interesting. From our perspective, we've only watched the game, right? I know Jarrod thinks he played the game, but you played the game, right, at the highest possible level, and you know how difficult the game is. So when you look at the player you were, or remember the player you were, and you look at what Joe Root's got about him, or what Harry Brook's got about him, what is it about those two that you wish you had?
I wish I could be them. But again, when I played, and sort of let's talk about in the 70s, not in the 60s, so I was just learning. But in the 70s, when I knew a bit about it, I would be watching lads who I played against, Vivian Richards, or lads who I played with, Clive Lloyd, and draw inspiration to try to bring little bits into your game. So now that I see the game as an old stager, and I see the quality of Joe Root and the skill and the finesse of Joe Root, and then I see a belligerent Harry Brook, you know, from quite a slight lad. He's not a big, beefy sort of guy. And the shots that are now played by all players around the world, I want to be Harry Brook. I want to be that sort of player. Where I mean, I chat with Jeffrey Boycott, who was, you know, pad together, and you ain't going to get me out. I'm going to bat here for a fortnight. And so a lot of us had an element of that when we played. And then your Vivs come along, and Clive Lloyd, you know, Berry Richards, Gordon Greenidge, with a lot of flair, and you were trying to bring that bit of flair into your own game. Now I see somebody like Harry Brook, who's almost just starting. He's got flair in abundance. So I want to be him.
Who would you pick?
Well,
can I give you some other options?
Oh, I'd love to. I'd love to. And
I think Jaiswal's a good option.
There's the one.
So Andre Russell as well.
Can I just tell? Well, yeah, but Russell. So
the thing with Russell,
Jaiswal's good.
Yeah.
So what I like,
hitting sixes and bowling 90-mile-an-hour Yorkers is pretty fun, though, isn't it?
But see, there's a couple of criteria I would throw in there. Firstly, I think that the most exciting, and Brook was in there in my reckoning.
Jamie Smith.
Yeah, but see, this is the thing, right? I think you've either got to be English, Indian, or Australian, because you need to be playing the Icon series. So either an Ashes or a Border Gavaskar. That you want to be playing that. So you get to play that. You get to play that Ashes and Border Gavaskar, and England India is pretty big as well. IPL. I think you've got to be playing in the IPL. Just from your own experience perspective, the biggest show in town for 2 months a year. Even forget the money, just to be playing people, in it.
Yeah.
I live in Yorkshire. I don't think I can forget the money.
Well, then don't forget the money.
No,
Throw the money in there.
I ain't forgetting
all
the
money. All the money in the world to be playing in the biggest tournament in the world for 2 months every year in front of in the biggest stadia, in front of the most passionate fans. You've got to be in that. So Jaiswal, of course, 6, all that. Then there's the being at that part of your career when it's all stretching out in front of you. That must be a beautiful place to be.
Can I, as an aside, say that I came from King's Cross in a car, driven by an Indian chap, and we were chatting cricket. And he said, he said, how much does a match referee or an umpire get paid now? And I said, international. He said, yeah, the test matches and things like that. I said, well, an elite top-level umpire. I said, I'll have a guess at £140,000, £120,000. Oh, he says, that's per game. He said, that's good. I said, no. I said, that's like for the year. Oh, he said, that's not very good. What? He thought the 120, 140 grand per game. He said, because the players get a lot of money. He said they get millions. I said, you're dead right. He said, so the umpires and match referee should get the same. I said, I think I'll apply for a job.
I was going to say, you'd never have given up umpiring.
No.
Travis said.
Let me just ask, so if I was to say it had to be a batter, and if I say to you it had to be a bowler.
Oh, you'd had to be a bowler.
You can have a little think.
If it had to be a batter, I'd probably pick Head over Jaiswal, even though I know Jaiswal's going to have a better career, well, should have a better career, just because Head's a bit more of a slogger, and I enjoy that. I enjoy slightly being out of control, whereas Jaiswal's a little bit too... I think I'd get a little bit bored with being so technically correct.
Oh, if only.
Bowler, who would I want to be as a bowler?
Who makes bowling
I was thinking
fun?
Ashwin, it would be a fun one, because he's
what about Jadeja?
Well, Jadeja just comes in and bowls the same ball over and over again.
Get it done with. You'll be done in a minute.
Whereas I thought with Ashwin, there's so many, like he's trying a different thing all the time.
This is the guy who said he couldn't be doing with the
yeah, but
fast
Ashwin's
bowling.
only got like 3 steps in.
Archer.
Oh, Archer's a good one.
Yeah, but he's had so much, so much. injury problems.
I was thinking Wood or Norkia would be cool too. Ooh. Just to be like, that's all I am. I'm just
Archer,
not quite as fast as they know.
Archer with that ability that I could seriously get stuck into this guy. I mean, that's the thrill when I've done this so many times. When I first started in '65, coming from club cricket, league cricket, from a very, very modest family background, the thrill of being able to be paid professionally to open the batting against a guy who's internationally renowned, one of the world-class bowlers. I'm some kid from Accrington. Well, not a kid, I'm a grown-up now. And it's Andy Roberts, and it's Joel Garner, and it's Malcolm Marshall.
Jeff Thompson?
Jeff Thompson. And forget all this, we've got a good team spirit. Forget that. It's me and him. Yeah. That's what it is. The thrill of that, you can't describe it. The adrenaline rush that you get. I mean, to stand there and this geezer's running in, and you know he's going to rattle up to 90 miles an hour, and you can't make a false move. You cannot make a false move. You've got to be sharp. You've got to be switched on. And for a period, you don't have a helmet either. And so just get out the way. You know, that's a thrill. That's a thrill. But it's just, I didn't go to private school. You know, I went to a state school. I come from a family with an outside toilet. That is a thrill. It's me and him. Forget the team. Anyway.
I think we're done.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.